For all of your coin buying and selling needs, head over to onestopmut.com and use code EDGY for 10% off. What's up guys, Edgy here bringing another video, and today we are going to be doing something different on the channel. So one of my buddies, known him for quite a few years on Twitter, he's also a Dolphins fan, but every once in a while he'll pitch me some ideas, that he has for me to do on the channel. And this one he sent my way and I really liked it. So he told me that I should download the updated rosters. They have the rookies, all the new free agents on every team, and kind of do like a team preview for Madden 21 for every team. And I really liked the idea, and I kind of told him, I was like, okay, I'm going to take that idea and I'm going to add on to it. So I told him, you know what, I'm going to go through, I'm going to do the team preview, and I'm also going to kind of, give a really early record prediction. So obviously, these aren't going to be 100% accurate. Anything could happen. Injuries could happen in preseason. They could happen in the beginning of the regular season. That could completely switch teams around. But this is just a really early prediction. I'm not an expert. This is just my opinion, so nobody get offended if I don't put your team as highly as you think they're going to be. I mean, we all get a little biased when it comes to our own teams, let's be honest. But I'm going to start with the AFC West, which to me I think is going to be one of the most competitive divisions in football this year. Not necessarily competitive in like who's going to win the division, but competitive in that I'd say three of these teams in this division could very well make the playoffs. I think all four of these teams are going to be at least close to 500. I don't think any of these teams in this division win less than 6 games. So I'm going to start off with the Chiefs. I've got them going 12-4. The Chiefs didn't make a lot of splash in free agency, anything like that. Pretty much it's the same roster, but the thing is, they have Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. As long as they have those 3 guys, their offense is going to be crazy, damn near unstoppable. They have Damian Williams still, very solid running back. Honestly, I think he should have won Super Bowl MVP. He had that huge touchdown run late in the game that sealed it for him. I believe Patrick Mahomes said it also. He thought that he should have won MVP. Sammy Watkins still pretty good receiver. They have McCole Hardman. Their first round pick was the #1 running back the first running back off the board, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't watch a lot of college football, but I know this guy's very good, and I believe he's very good at catching the ball out of the backfield, if I'm correct. But I'm also going to go ahead for each team. I'm going to give my prediction for like their breakout player. It's not going to be all rookies. Some of them are going to be second or third year players. Most of it's going to be younger players that are like either they're good, but they're not really like named elite or anything like that, or they're just kind of under the radar guys, and I think they're going to be very, very good. So for the Chiefs, I already flipped to their team earlier, and for me, Juan Thornhill was very good as a rookie. He did get injured late in the season, and Sorensen was the starter, and he also played very well in the playoffs. But I think Juan Thornhill coming back healthy, I think he's going to be very, very good. And when you have a safety like Tyrann Mathieu on the other side, that makes your job a lot easier as a safety. Definitely think Juan Thornhill is going to be very, very good in year 2. So watch out for that. I'm going to go ahead and head over to the next team, who I believe is going to be the second place team in this division. All right, guys. So I've got the Denver Broncos being second place in the AFC West. Now, everyone knows the Broncos for a long time have had a very, very good defense. And honestly, I think it's going to be even better this year than it has been the past couple years. Obviously, when they had their Super Bowl runs, their defense was always top 5. I think they're going to go back to top 5 this year. But their breakout player, in my opinion, is going to be Drew Lock. I think this is the best arsenal of weapons they've had around a quarterback that they've had in recent years, probably since they had Peyton Manning. 2 very, very good running backs, Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay. Wide receivers, Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, phenomenal route runner. Arguably, I mean, it's a toss-up. Him and CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs, they're all pretty neck and neck for who's the best receiver in the class. But Jerry Jeudy is definitely going to be a very big help. And KJ Hamler, I haven't personally watched a lot of film on this guy, but I've heard great things about him, and I know he's a burner. So the fact that they have Courtland Sutton, who blew up last year, had a huge year. They have Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, and they have Noah Fant, who's a very, very good young tight end. I don't know. I know they made a couple additions, or at least one addition to the O-line. I know they got Graham Glasgow from the Lions, I believe. So I don't know how good their O-line was last year, but if their O-line is decent, Drew Lock is going to have a very good season, and I got the Broncos winning 10 games. Defensively, they added Jarrell Casey. They did lose Chris Harris. Their linebacking unit is one of the best in the league. Their secondary is one of the best in the league. AJ Boye, I believe they just brought him in. Very good. Bryce Callahan's not a bad corner. And their safety's probably one of the better tandems in the league. Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson. Kareem Jackson was decent as a corner, but when they moved him to safety last year, he really had a really, really good season. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next team, who I think is going to be third in the AFC West. Alright guys, so this one was very close for me. I think both the Raiders and the Chargers are, I think they're going to be good teams. But the difference for me is I believe in John Gruden. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. I think they had a down year last year because he was so heavily invested in scheming around Antonio Brown that when Antonio Brown, had CTE hit him and went crazy, whatever he did. Whenever that happened, their whole game plan kind of went down the drain offensively. And defensively, they had some big injuries. Their rookie safety, Jonathan Abram, that they drafted, he went down, I think, in the preseason. But not having that number one receiver really hurt them last year. A lot of Raiders fans, I've seen this when Dolphins had Tannehill. Your fans are going to be 50-50. Half the fans are going to blame the quarterback. Half the fans are going to realize that it's a team game and you can't just blame one player. While Derek Carr's production did go down a little bit last year, I don't think he was at fault. I think the fact is they didn't have very good receiver. Darren Waller was their only legitimate threat in the passing game. And, Josh Jacobs had a good rookie year, don't get me wrong, but people weren't really worried about the Raiders throwing on him. And I think with the addition of Henry Ruggs, having that real big-time burner over the top is going to really elevate their passing game. Plus, they got Nelson Aguilar. I don't think Nelson Aguilar is bad. I know he has drop issues, but I feel like once he gets his confidence up, I've seen Kenny Stills do the same thing when he came to Miami. He had a huge drop against Seattle in the fourth quarter that would have won the Dolphins the game. And for a couple games, he was just down. You could tell he wasn't the same dude. But then once he got his confidence up, he started playing very good again. I think Nelson Aguilar's still young. He can still turn into a very good receiver. Hunter Renfrow, I know he was one of the best guys at yards after catch last season. Very good slot guy. Henry Ruggs, probably going to play outside. Tyrell Williams, I think he's more of a number two personally, but he's a very good number two. He had a pretty decent season last year before he got hurt as well, but I think their receiving unit is a lot better. They also have Zay Jones, still young, still don't know if he's going to be, boom or bust. Obviously, he didn't work out for the Bills, but you never know. Tight end, they added Jason Witten. They already had Darren Waller. Their tight ends are going to be great. Raiders' offensive line is very good. We already know this. Max Crosby. This one was a toss-up for me between their breakout player, but I feel like Crosby already kind of broke out last year. He was I think, third or fourth round draft pick, and he had like 9 or 10 sacks. So for me, the Raiders' breakout player is going to be Clelin Ferrell. I think he's a very good pass rusher. I think he was kind of overshadowed by Max Crosby last year, and just the fact that their defense wasn't very good as an entire unit. So I think this year, with a couple new pieces, they upgraded the D-line. They added Malik Collins. Linebacker, they got Kwiatkowski and Corey Littleton, who are very good linebackers. Kwiatkowski, I won't say he's very good yet, but he's been good in the limited time that he has played, at least for the Bears. Corey Littleton, very solid linebacker. I think that was their biggest issue last year defensively. Secondary-wise, I did not realize, I was flipping through this team earlier, I did not realize how many safeties they had. Prince Amukamara, obviously, pretty solid veteran corner. He's been, good to very good for, probably at least 4 or 5 seasons. I don't know how much he has left in the tank. I haven't watched a lot of his film recently, but he's been a quality corner in the league for quite some time. Damon Arnett, I know they drafted him. He's supposed to be very good as well. At safety, this is the position that I was just baffled when I looked through how many safeties they really have. Demarius Randall, that was a huge add for them. I think Demarius Randall, in terms of just a straight coverage safety, he's very, very good. Obviously, he's not a big hitter. He's not laying the boom, but he can cover. Eric Harris, last year, he had a couple really good games for the Raiders. I saw some highlights. I didn't watch film on him or anything like that, but I did see highlights. You know, obviously highlights aren't telling the whole story, but he did have some big moments for them. So I mean, I don't know. He's probably not going to start, obviously, but if someone's to go down, he's probably a good guy to fill in. And then at strong safety, I know a lot of Raider fans were very pissed off about LaMarcus Joyner last year. Didn't live up to expectations. Jonathan Abram went down early, and they also added Jeff Heath. So they have like 5 safeties that I think are going to be on the roster who, you know, I don't even know who's going to start, honestly. I mean, I think LaMarcus Joyner was better when he played nickel corner, like when he did for the Rams. So maybe they'll move him there, but they definitely have a lot of options at safety. But yeah, guys, so I have the Raiders going 8-8, and the breakout player is going to be Clelin Ferrell. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the Chargers, and let's break that down. So, the Chargers. LA Chargers. I almost said San Diego. The Chargers, I think, not this year, but next year, I think is when they're going to take a lead. This year, I think they're going to have some struggles early. I don't really have a lot of faith in Tyrod Taylor, and I believe he's going to be the starter this year. I think Herbert needs a little bit of time to learn and develop. Tyrod Taylor, I mean, we've seen what happened. The Browns planned to start him over Baker Mayfield, and he just was not performing. Baker Mayfield took over. I feel like Tyrod Taylor's always been that guy. He'll, you know, have a couple of good games, and then he'll go downhill and then get benched. So, I mean, nothing against the guy, but I just don't see him, you know, really leading them to the playoffs or anything like that. Even as good as their defense is, obviously they still have Austin Eckler, very solid running back, had a huge year last year. Keenan Allen, one of the best route runners in the NFL, very reliable, catching traffic guy. Mike Williams, they got the big body. They got some rookies that I don't know anything about. KJ Hill, I do, but Joe Reed, I'm not familiar with him. Tight end, Hunter Henry, back off injury. If he can stay healthy, he's a very, very good tight end. Their offensive line is decent. We know they have probably one of the better defensive end tandems in terms of pass rushing in the league. D-tackle, they got Linval Joseph. I think their breakout player is going to be Kenneth Murray. He is a rookie. I believe this is the first rookie that I have on here. Everyone else is a second-year player. But I think Denzel Perryman, whenever he first was drafted, there was a lot of hype around him saying that he was going to be like very, very, very good. And from what I've seen, he's a solid linebacker. But adding Kenneth Murray, who, from what I hear, like I said, I don't watch that much college football. I mostly just watch highlights, and like players that are projected to go to my team or teams that I watch a lot, I'll watch film on. So Kenneth Murray, I haven't watched a lot of film on him, but I do know he is fast and he's a cover linebacker. Denzel Perryman's a run stopper, so maybe having that combination will take them over the top in terms of their linebacking core. I know that was one of their issues last season. But what I want to talk about with the Chargers is their secondary. I think in terms of corners, the Chargers and the Dolphins probably have the best cornerback units in the NFL. In terms of having multiple guys who are just very, very, very good. So Casey Hayward and Chris Harris, proven guys, been good for a long time. Think they both have at least, 2 or 3 good years left, maybe more, before they start to decline. Desmond King was one of the best nickel corners in the league the last 2 years. I believe he made the Pro Bowl. I think that was as a returner, but I could be wrong. But very, very good nickel corner. These two guys are going to... I know Chris Harris primarily played the slot in Denver, but I'm sure he could play outside also. Very good corners there. Free safety, I don't know much about Rayshon Jenkins or Adderley, but Derwin James, strong safety. Derwin James is one of the best safeties in the league. There's no question about that. As long as he stays healthy, their secondary will be one of the better secondaries in the NFL for sure. And I got the Chargers going 6-10 or 7-9. I'm going to say 7-9 with the assumption that Tyrod Taylor gets benched at some point and Justin Herbert plays decent. I think their defense is good enough to win them at least 4 or 5 games, and offensively, they'll probably have a couple big spurts where they go off. But as good as their defense is, I could see them winning, more games than that, just because if you have a great defense, you can compete with anybody. Like, even if you play the Chiefs, if you have a great defense, you can limit their offense. Obviously, there's not many people who can do it, but if you can limit their offense and you could put up a little bit of points, you can win. But that's going to end this video, guys. Those are my predictions for the AFC West. I'm going to be doing an 8-video series I'm gonna be going over every division. I'm gonna do the AFC East last. I don't want everyone to be saying I'm a biased Dolphins fan, because I do think we're gonna be decent this year. But that's going to conclude this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to smack that like button. Hit that sub button if you're new. Turn notifications on. As always, everyone have a great day. I'm out.